intent shown in that document. There's no words that were said. There's no pointing of the firearm at anyone. Essentially, what the document says and what the witnesses said on that day.
DJ Academics recently shared information that quickly caught attention online. Public discussion began after posts suggested that rapper Pooh Shiesty may have faced a new legal situation only months after a federal release. Many viewers questioned whether there had been a supervision issue or if new details had quietly surfaced. The situation sparked widespread curiosity across social media. On January 12, 2026, at around 7:21 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, Academics posted a screenshot to his large audience that appeared to show official public records.
Is that the defendant was being escorted out of the club. He reached for his pockets, looking for money in his pockets. A weapon was pulled and it was fired at the ground. And after it was fired at the ground, allegedly the ricochet or whatever happened was one of the either security guards or an employee of the club was struck in his ankle.
The post suggested that Pooh Shiesty, who had recently returned to public life, was once again listed in a federal system. The timing and presentation immediately drew attention from fans and commentators. The post spread rapidly.
What happened here was the defendant was angry because the victim in this case, who was a security guard, told him to put away his gun. He then grew angry. He pointed the gun at him and shot him. The victim, this specifically states in the arrest warrant, that he had to move out of the way. He was directly shooting at him. The only reason he got shot in the ankle was because he jumped out of the way at the last minute. This happened in front of a club full of people. There's video of the defendant with the gun in his hand.
Pulling in thousands of interactions and over 1 million views within hours. The screenshot appeared to come from the Federal Bureau of Prisons inmate locator and listed identifying details, including a name, registration number, age, and a future date tied to a residential reentry management location. For those familiar with how federal records are displayed, this listing led to speculation that a supervised release issue may have occurred.
If you're saying the streets, now you are the streets, you're saying fuck yourself, right? Chat, again, this is why I'm looking at the street news and I'm like, why are they saying this shit online? I am the streets. 2 weeks ago, the streets. I see what you did there. But exactly.
Some online viewers began analyzing lyrics from his recent comeback track, pointing out lines that suddenly felt more revealing than artistic. What once sounded like creative expression was now being discussed as possible references to real-life situations, at least according to public discussion. These conversations actually started a day earlier, on January 11th, 2026, during a live stream featuring a close associate from Pooh Shiesty's circle.
Most of the things that street niggas abide by or adhere to or do not make sense. So this idea of no snitching, yeah, it sounds great. It's like a rule, you know? Don't do this. All right, cool. Sounds like a good rule. Until you realize that the majority of people have ignored majority of street news,
which immediately raised eyebrows across social platforms. During that stream, a caller mentioned a situation involving authorities without naming anyone directly. Still, many viewers watching felt the hints were clear enough to spark speculation. The talk spread fast through group chats and social media, with people debating whether there had been issues connected to supervised release or recent activity. Nothing was confirmed, but the timing made the rumors feel louder and harder to ignore. To understand why this moment grabbed so much attention, it helps to look at Pooh Shiesty's background. Born Treldon L. Williams Jr. on November 8, 1999 in Memphis, Tennessee, he grew up surrounded by music culture from an early age. His father founded Mob Ties Records, placing him close to the industry from the start. His rise accelerated after signing with Gucci Mane's 1017 label in 2020, followed by the breakout success of Back in Blood, featuring Lil Durk, which dominated charts and online platforms. His debut project, Shiesty Season, dropped in early 2021.
Street niggas go on podcasts to argue and debate what they're, yeah, I'm gonna tell you why I ran down on him. It's usually a logical thing. But they go online to explain themselves that the consumers of the internet could understand it. Here's the thing. You watching me here, and the reason, and most people who are not involved in the streets that watch stuff, they're logical people.
Debuting at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and later, earning platinum status, solidifying his place in mainstream rap history. By mid-2021, his collaborations were pulling massive numbers across streaming platforms, pushing him into full superstar territory. His music connected with millions, especially listeners who related to his raw stories and real-life perspective. But right as his momentum peaked, ongoing legal matters began to overshadow the rise, shifting public focus fast. In late 2020,
you just dropped one of the hardest street songs. It's the highest debut rap song in the last couple of months. You're doing good, brother. Don't speak on it. Even if, like, you, again, here's the problem. You could stand in solidarity, and this is why, like, the rap game confuses me.
A situation in Florida that reportedly started as a casual exchange between adults later became the foundation of a federal investigation, according to official records. Additional incidents in 2021 added to the scrutiny.
And what I realized is, like, these cliques of rappers, because right now it's weird in Atlanta, it's getting weird for everybody else. Why? That's all their homies. Like, that's the cool crew. So I thought that when the whole F the streets thing was, you know, kind of transpiring and going around social media and hip hop, you know who I felt should be the last person that jumped in on that? Pooh Shiesty. You just came out of jail and you're saying that you're back on the streets and you're bringing back the streets damn near.
With attorneys later stating in court that certain events were misunderstood. These moments would eventually be reviewed closely during legal proceedings, drawing intense attention from both media and fans alike. By mid-2021, federal charges were formally announced, and the case moved quickly. He later accepted a plea agreement, and in April 2022, a judge issued a sentence of just over 5 years. October 7th, 2025 marked a major moment when Pooh Shiesty was released early into community confinement after serving several years. Clips quickly surfaced, showing him reconnecting with fellow artists and enjoying a lifestyle that had been on pause. He wasted no time musically either, dropping First Day Out, which climbed to the top of Billboard's Hot R&B/Hip-Hop Songs chart, proving his fan base was still solid and engaged. However, not everything landed smoothly. In December 2025, a live stream moment sparked online debate after he reacted sharply to a viewer's comment about another well-known artist. While supporters defended him as standing on loyalty, others felt the exchange reflected unnecessary tension. Still, that moment wasn't what raised the biggest concerns. More discussion followed when viewers began analyzing another clip that appeared to show him explaining his location during a phone call tied to supervision requirements. Some online commenters felt the visuals didn't fully match the explanation, leading to heavy speculation and harsh reactions across social media. Nothing was officially confirmed, but the conversation grew louder fast. Because federal supervised release comes with strict oversight, even small misunderstandings can draw attention. To many online observers, the situation felt almost predictable. A familiar hip-hop narrative started forming in public discussion, where an artist returns to the spotlight and quickly faces renewed scrutiny under strict federal supervision. It's a storyline fans have seen before, and this time, social media users were convinced the signs were lining up again. Online commentators quickly switched into analysis mode, reviewing clips, lyrics, and posts shared since October. Every detail was examined closely, almost like a timeline reconstruction, with many claiming the material supported concerns about possible supervision issues. Nothing was officially confirmed, but the intensity of the scrutiny alone showed how serious the conversation had become. A major focus landed on lyrics from First Day Out, a song meant to mark a fresh chapter. Some listeners interpreted certain lines as references that conflicted with federal supervision rules, sparking debate about whether the lyrics were purely artistic or too close to real-life circumstances. That interpretation alone set social media buzzing. Beyond the music, live stream clips from late 2025 and early 2026 added fuel to the discussion. Viewers pointed to moments they felt raised additional questions, leading many to believe the situation was bigger than a single song. One moment that drew heavy attention was a clip where he appeared to be on a phone call related to supervision while viewers believed he wasn't in the location he described. Because federal supervised release comes with strict location requirements, that single moment became a major talking point online. Many commenters stress that accuracy and transparency are key under that level of oversight. Public discussion also focused on how closely supervised individuals are monitored, including through approved schedules and location tracking tools. Online observers argued that any mismatch between what's reported and what's shown can raise immediate concerns. This added fuel to the broader conversation already circulating at the time. Additional clips showed him socializing and appearing relaxed, which some viewers felt didn't align with expectations for someone under close federal supervision. While none of this was officially confirmed, the contrast alone kept speculation alive and growing across platforms. Another live stream moment from December 2025 was widely debated, with critics saying it reflected emotional reactions that could be viewed negatively in a supervision context. One lyric in particular drew criticism online, with some viewers saying it sounded confrontational rather than artistic. When combined with live stream moments, location questions, and emotional reactions, many online commentators felt the pieces formed a clear pattern. That's why, when the public records screenshot surfaced on January 12th, so many people accepted it immediately as confirmation. It wasn't about wanting to see him struggle. For many viewers, the online narrative simply felt convincing. Major hip-hop pages and commentary channels shared the update widely, and engagement surged because the explanation seemed to line up with everything people thought they had already seen. At that point, the story felt settled in the public eye. But then came the unexpected turn. Later that same day, at 8:33 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, DJ Academics shared an update that changed the entire conversation. According to clarification from his label, the earlier assumptions were incorrect. There was no new detention, no violation, and no return to federal custody, directly contradicting what had been circulating online. So what actually caused the confusion? The answer sits inside how the Federal Bureau of Prisons manages its residential re-entry management program. This includes halfway houses and home-based confinement programs, and this is the key detail many people overlooked. Individuals in these programs are still technically under Bureau of Prison supervision, even though they're living in the community. So when Pooh Shiesty transitioned out on October 7th, 2025, it wasn't a full release in the way many assume. Instead, he entered what's known as community confinement, meaning the remainder of his sentence was being completed under structured supervision with strict check-ins and oversight handled by RRM Dallas. That April 11th, 2026 date that caused so much online reaction wasn't new at all. It had already been set as the scheduled end of his sentence timeline. The public database had listed RRM Dallas and that date consistently since his move to community confinement, but most people weren't tracking the system closely because individuals in these programs remain under federal custody on paper. Their listings don't change unless there's an official update. XXL Magazine later confirmed through sources close to the situation that he remained in Dallas under a halfway house program through April 11, 2026, with no new charges or supervision issues at all. The situation discussed during that earlier live stream was either misunderstood, exaggerated, or related to someone else entirely, but it was not evidence that Pooh Shiesty had been taken back into custody. So what about all the proof people felt so confident about? This is where it gets uncomfortable. Much of the online narrative was built on assumptions, clipped moments, and incomplete information that only appeared convincing when stacked together. The lyric that caused the biggest reaction was simply artistic expression, protected speech, and not proof of real-world actions without verified confirmation. Lyrics alone don't equal violations. Unless authorities can clearly show a real-life breach of supervision terms, creative lines in a song don't meet that standard. Music has always included exaggerated storytelling, and one bar, without supporting facts, doesn't establish wrongdoing under supervision rules. The live stream moment that looked questionable also became less clear when examined closely. Without the full conversation, exact supervision conditions, or an official statement, there's no way to confirm a violation occurred. What seemed alarming in short clips may have been a loud activity or simple misunderstanding. Being rude or dismissive isn't a federal offense, but this situation became a clear example of how online speculation can spiral fast. A misunderstood live stream moment mixed with an artist's known legal history and online behavior, creating a narrative that felt believable before it was ever verified. Then, a public database screenshot entered the picture, seemingly confirming people's assumptions. When a major media personality shared it without full context, the story spread instantly. Millions saw it, repeated it, and accepted it as fact, even though key details were missing. In reality, the situation was driven by assumptions, partial information, and confirmation bias. Because the story matched what many expected to happen, it was easy for the narrative to take hold before anyone paused to verify the facts. Earlier commentary from DJ Academics, recorded before the rumor surfaced, helps explain why belief spread so quickly. There was already a perception that he was struggling to balance the strict structure of supervised release with public expectations and image management, which made speculation feel justified to some viewers. At the center of this moment is a contradiction that DJ Academics highlighted clearly. On one hand, you have a young artist who dropped one of the most talked about comeback tracks of 2025, landing at #1 because it delivered that raw Memphis sound fans felt had been missing. It wasn't polished or aimed at mass appeal. It felt authentic, confident, and true to his roots. At the same time, hip-hop has been in the middle of a wider conversation about image, loyalty, and consequences, especially as recent high-profile cases push the culture to rethink what keeping it real actually costs. Pooh Shiesty appeared to engage with that conversation too, sometimes suggesting growth, while his music and public presence seemed to point in another direction altogether. That tension isn't unique to him. It shows up across street rap, and it becomes even more complicated for artists under supervised release. They're navigating constant oversight while still needing to project authenticity to keep their audience connected. Artists in this position face a tough contradiction. They're expected to project confidence and strength in their music, while also demonstrating growth and responsibility to supervision officials who closely monitor their progress. That constant pressure creates a difficult balancing act, where every move can carry extra weight. What may feel normal within certain environments becomes far more complicated once it's placed under public and legal scrutiny. Social media has completely reshaped that reality. Years ago, someone could return quietly and adjust to supervision with far less attention. Today, every live stream, lyric, or post can be paused, clipped, and interpreted in ways never intended. Every public update becomes permanent. A single heated moment can be replayed endlessly, reshaped into a larger narrative, and used to question someone's progress. What once might have faded quickly now follows artists indefinitely, fueling speculation long after the moment has passed. Some critics were quick to label him inconsistent, claiming he was distancing himself from the lifestyle his music once celebrated, but that raises a real question. What's the alternative? Should an artist intentionally stay connected to risky environments, knowing it could undo everything they work toward? The expectations placed on street rappers often feel unrealistic and unfair. There's a strange demand that artists remain intensely authentic, while somehow avoiding the real-world consequences tied to that image. Songs that resonate deeply often do so because they sound raw and uncompromising. That realism helped certain tracks reach massive success, but it also blurred the line between storytelling and personal history in the public eye. That same authenticity can later work against an artist. Lyrics meant as expression can be reframed as evidence, and image can be interpreted as intent. What once built credibility with fans may also invite closer scrutiny from outside observers, turning creative work into something much heavier than it was intended to be. For many viewers, the first impression stuck. They remembered seeing claims that he was back in custody, and that assumption became their reality even after corrections surfaced. There's also an uncomfortable truth here. Conflict and setbacks generate far more engagement than stability or success, especially online. In today's attention-driven media space, dramatic headlines travel faster than nuanced explanations. Posts suggesting trouble under supervision spark instant clicks, while detailed breakdowns of community confinement programs rarely gain the same traction. That creates pressure to post quickly, even before full verification is available. Looking back, the pattern is clear. An unclear moment during a live stream was interpreted in the most dramatic way possible. Then, a public database listing, unchanged for months, was treated as confirmation. Once a major platform amplified it, the narrative spread rapidly, and repetition turned speculation into fact within hours. When artists try to explain street logic to a broad online audience that hasn't lived that experience, the message often falls apart under scrutiny. Still, many keep trying to explain themselves, protect their credibility, and justify their choices to viewers who may never fully understand the environment they come from. That creates a no-win situation. If an artist leans into an authentic image, critics say they're being reckless and risking their future. If they shift toward a cleaner image, they're accused of losing authenticity or changing up. Even attempts to balance both sides can lead to accusations of inconsistency, especially when every move is watched and debated in real time. This constant spotlight leaves little room for nuance. Audiences with strong opinions often overlook the real pressures and restrictions artists are operating under. As a result, lyrics and creative choices continue to spark debate, with some viewers seeing expressive wordplay while others interpret the same lines as controversial. That gap in interpretation keeps the conversation going and highlights just how difficult it is to satisfy every expectation at once. A recent lyric referencing a well-known public figure sparked backlash, with critics saying it pulled someone outside of music into unnecessary controversy. From the artist's perspective, though, it was framed as wordplay using familiar pop culture references. That moment highlights just how limited the options are for someone trying to balance expression and perception at the same time. He remains under federal supervision until April 11, 2026, meaning his actions are closely evaluated within a structured system. Every public move can be interpreted, reviewed, and judged against specific conditions. At the same time, he's a commercial artist operating in a fast-moving industry where staying visible matters more than ever. That creates a deep conflict. His career is built on a specific image and voice, but the expectations of supervised release often push in the opposite direction. Staying quiet and avoiding public debate might be the safest strategy, but that runs directly against the identity that made his music connect in the first place. The confusion around RRM Dallas and community confinement highlighted how little most people understand about supervised release programs. Many don't realize someone can leave a facility while still remaining under Bureau of Prisons oversight, with strict limits on movement and the possibility of being returned to custody if conditions aren't met. That lack of awareness creates the perfect setup for misinformation to spread fast. Looking ahead, the real question is whether Pooh Shiesty can reach April 11, 2026 without confirmed supervision issues, and what his career might look like once that chapter officially closes. His recent music showed strong demand and clear audience support, proving the interest is still there. The challenge now is sustaining that momentum while navigating strict requirements that leave little room for error or even misinterpretation, whether through actions or online perception. Avoiding situations that spark rumors may be just as important as following the rules themselves. In the end, the January 2026 false alarm may serve as a wake-up call. It showed how quickly assumptions can harden into facts online and how relentless public attention has become. The reality is this: no amount of clarification can fully overpower a viral narrative once it takes hold, even when that narrative turns out to be wrong. As these final months of supervision play out, this story reflects something much bigger than one artist. It touches on authenticity in hip-hop, public misunderstanding of federal supervision, and the powerful role social media plays in shaping and distorting perception. Every move is observed, every moment is analyzed, and context often gets lost along the way. He's navigating constant visibility while trying to protect both his career and his future, walking a narrow line that few people truly understand. That tension sits at the center of everything we've discussed. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can see the full context. Check out one of the videos on screen for more deep dives like this, and I'll see you on the next one.